Cabernet is a variety of Vitis vinifera, and it has evolved in France. It's come to many parts of the world, and we're working with it in California.
What does Cabernet taste like in glass?
It tastes like sex in a glass. What does it taste? Cabernet has a lot of body to it. It has a fair bit of tannin, so it really draws you right into this kind of a tight, sinewy world. This wine has a lot of. It just takes your mouth over. It's especially when it's young. It just fills your mouth with tannic tendencies, fruit things, dark fruits, loamy earth. It hopefully gives a salivary response, so your mouth is watering, and it makes you want to look for something to eat. You're looking for something savory, something with a little bit of fat and protein. And once you get something like that in your mouth, now you're looking for Cabernet. Because it's a nice little dance, and they relieve each other. It's almost like parts of a play, where you've got something dramatic and something sad has happened, and now you're looking for some comic relief. You get the comic relief, you can get too much comic relief, so let's come back to something that's a little more dramatic, and the tide and flow of the tendencies, or the whole feel for things. And I think a great meal is just that. You have a tide and flow. You go to your glass, you go to your plate. You go to the glass, you go to a different part of the plate, and before you know it, the plate is empty, and then so is the glass, and your tummy is full.
So you're about to go through a flight today, 03 through 7, is that correct?
Yes.
What would I notice between those vintages? It's all Cabernet?
Yes.
So how's that going to change as you taste through?
Okay. Later today, we're going to go through and present a flight of 03 through 2007 Cabernets from my family's vineyard. What we're going to see here is obviously an evolution in age, but more importantly to me, we're going to see the differences in the types of vintages and how those vintages express themselves. So going back to the 03, without even talking to the developmental side, we're going to see certain characteristics of that vintage. And I think the biggest differences that we have in the nature of the vintages in this flight is the difference between 2005 and 2006. They're adjacent vintages, but the 05 vintage was very cool, very cool, leisurely finish to the season. We could harvest whenever we wanted. The acidity was preserved to a very high degree in these grapes, and that wine's angles are coming in a significant way from the acidity of the wine as opposed to the tannins. Whereas in the 06 vintage, it's floating on its structure. There's less tannin, a little less acidity, and that wine seems to be a little bit more buoyant than the 05. So the 05 is a little more challenging wine to drink right now by itself than the 06, which is something you could sip and really enjoy by itself quite easily. The 05, you're really looking for something to eat. If you change that context, the 05 is stunning with some food because it has that comic relief to the drama. So one of the things we're looking at is the difference between vintages. Then if we look less at that and we look more at the development in the vintages, the 03 the structure has softened, or the tannins have softened to the point where the structure allows the flavors to be much more apparent. You're not competing for attention between the tannins and the flavors. There's also additional layers that have come from being in that bottle. Some other things have happened chemically to that wine while it's sitting in the bottle. Compare that to the 07, which has had a lot less time to develop those things in the bottle. You're seeing more primary fruit and vinification characteristics, just looking at the two. In many cases, you might see more, I hate to call it decay, but the loss of the more primary things can be viewed as decay. But what I'm trying to do stylistically with our Cabernet is not to look at this young stage of around 10-year-old wines or up to 10-year-old wines. I'm looking for receiving the benefit of the additional layers of being in the bottle, and not being concerned about decay at this early stage. You know, I would be more looking for decay another 10 years from now. And by then we've had another decade of more interesting flavors going on, and all this evolution happening very slowly. So what I'm looking forward to seeing is both of those things together, the differences between the vintages and some of the additional layers that we get with more time in the bottle.
There seems